Okay, so today we're diving into something that I think a lot of folks are thinking about these days, especially when it comes to retirement savings.
Yeah, that feeling of what's safe anymore. I get it.
Totally. And that leads us to precious metals, right? Specifically, Goldco. Someone sent in a really in-depth review of Goldco, and it's got me thinking.
Oh, yeah, this review is, well, it's not just like a quick glance.
Not at all.
It's like this deep dive. Uh, Doug Young, the guy who wrote it, has been in the precious metals and gold IRA world for like over 20 years.
So he knows his stuff.
Big time. So, looking at what he found with Goldco, I think we can really unpack not just what they do, but what it could mean for someone like you who's listening, for their own future planning.
Exactly. And that's our whole goal here. We want to take Doug's super detailed look at Goldco and boil it down.
Distill it.
Yes, distill it. So by the end of this, you know exactly what Goldco's approach is all about, and if it's even something you'd want to consider, for your own goals.
Makes sense.
So, first things first, what is Goldco's deal? Like, what are they really aiming for?
Well, their mission statement, the thing they put out there, it's basically to educate Americans, right? Like how to really safeguard their retirement. And they talk a lot about how precious metals are like a tool to help people protect themselves against inflation, stock market swings, that kind of uncertainty.
And they've been doing this for a while now, haven't they? I think the review mentioned that Trevor Gerst, the founder, started Goldco over a decade ago.
More than 10 years, yeah. And it's interesting because when they first started, they were more focused on direct cash sales. So you'd buy gold or silver from them straight up.
Really? So how did that shift to IRAs happen?
Well, over time, they kind of realized that a huge chunk of their business, like 80%, was coming from people who wanted to hold precious metals within their retirement accounts, those gold IRAs specifically.
Huh. So only 20% is still those direct buys now.
Yeah, which to me says they've really gone deep into the whole IRA side of things. And for anyone listening who's thinking, okay, an IRA with gold, that's interesting. Well, this focus that Goldco has, it could be a good sign, like they're not spread thin, they're experts in this specific thing.
Centralization, right.
Exactly.
And the review, it actually points out how much Goldco has grown and how they're ranked, within the industry. They hit number 317 on the Inc. 500 list, and they were specifically called out as a major player in gold and silver investments. Plus, they've gotten awards for fast growth in the Pacific region and in Los Angeles. They even made it onto the LA Business Journal's fastest growing companies list, like 3 times.
That kind of consistent growth over time, it usually means a company is doing something right. Happy customers, good resources, that kind of thing. It's not just luck.
No, definitely not. And it all kind of ties back to the founder, Trevor Gerst. His story, it's pretty interesting. Apparently, his fascination with precious metals started way back when he was a kid in South Africa. Like, he was super intrigued by silver dollars.
It's funny how those early experiences can shape someone's whole path, right? And for him, it sounds like seeing some financial ups and downs in his own family, it made him really value that sense of security, financial stability.
So precious metals, it was a natural fit for him, combining this personal interest with this, drive to help others achieve that stability.
Exactly. It adds a layer of authenticity to the whole thing, Like this isn't just a random business he picked, it's rooted in something deeper.
Yeah, that personal touch can make a difference. Okay, let's talk about something that really stood out in the review, those customer ratings. I mean, Goldco has gotten some seriously high marks across the board, on all these different platforms.
It's impressive. And Doug Young, the reviewer, he really stressed how important it is to look at these ratings to get a sense of how a company actually performs.
So what are we talking about here? What sites?
Well, you've got the Better Business Bureau, the BBB. They give Goldco an A+ rating and a super high score based on customer reviews.
And what about
The BCA, the
the
Business Consumer Alliance.
yes, that one.
They give Goldco their highest rating too, AAA. And it goes on, TrustLink gives them 5 stars, Trustpilot, 4.8 stars, Consumer Affairs, 4.9, even Google My Business, 4.9 stars.
Yeah.
When you see that kind of consistency across so many different platforms, it's a strong indicator that they're doing something right across the board.
It's not just a fluke, right?
Definitely not. And the review actually included a table comparing Goldco's ratings to other big gold IRA companies.
Yeah, I saw that. They were consistently near the top.
Right. So while no company's perfect, and you'll always find a few negative reviews here and there, the sheer volume of positive feedback for Goldco, the reviewer found that 93% of the reviews are positive. It really points to a high level of customer satisfaction overall. And even in those cases where there were complaints, The reviewer noted that Goldco seemed to address them quickly and effectively.
So they're not just getting good feedback, they're actually responding to any issues that come up.
Exactly.
Okay, let's get into what Goldco actually offers. I mean, it's more than just setting up a gold IRA, right?
Oh, yeah. They got a whole range of services. Like we said, their main focus is helping people set up those gold and silver IRAs.
Or a combo of both, right?
Right, a mix. And that includes like connecting you with their preferred custodian, which is Equity Trust Company. They're the ones who legally hold the assets. And they help you pick out the right precious metals, the ones that are actually approved by the IRS. And then they arrange for that safe storage at an approved depository.
But if you're not looking at the IRA route, they also do those direct cash sales, like they started with, right?
Yep. For those who just want to buy gold or silver outright, they help you figure out which metals are right for you, they offer competitive pricing, and they handle the secure delivery and insurance.
The review mentioned free delivery and storage, too, at least within the U.S.
Yeah, which is a nice perk. And beyond that, they'll help you roll over existing retirement accounts, like if you've got a 401k you want to move into a precious metals IRA.
And they handle other types of IRAs, too, right? Like simple IRAs, SEP IRAs.
Exactly. They even help you compare Roth and traditional IRAs and figure out if rolling those into a precious metals IRA makes sense for you.
So they're really like a one-stop shop for all things precious metals and retirement, basically.
Pretty much. They try to make it all as clear and straightforward as possible.
Which is helpful, because I know for a lot of people, the whole IRA thing can seem pretty confusing. Speaking of, the review actually explains what a precious metals IRA is, just for those who might not be familiar. Basically, it's a self-directed IRA, which means you have more control over your investments. And with a precious metals IRA, you can diversify your retirement holdings by adding physical gold, silver, platinum, or palladium, beyond those traditional stocks and bonds you usually find in IRAs.
The main draw with these precious metals IRAs is the idea that they can act as a hedge against inflation and stock market craziness. Gold and silver, they tend to hold their value pretty well, even when things get rocky.
So it's like a form of protection, almost.
Right, exactly. And I even remember the review quoting Goldco referring to precious metals as financial insurance against economic uncertainty.
Interesting way to look at it.
Yeah, it's not necessarily about getting huge growth, but more about maintaining stability during turbulent times.
Makes sense. So for those who are thinking about going the Goldco route, the process to set up a gold IRA, it sounds pretty streamlined based on the review. Can you walk us through that?
Sure thing. So the review laid out a three-step process. First, you'd talk to a Goldco representative, someone specializing in IRAs, and you'd fill out the application and get the ball rolling on transferring funds from your current retirement account. Then, in step 2, you'd work with an account executive to choose the specific precious metals that fit your goals and situation. And finally, in step 3, the metals you picked would be shipped to that secure depository for safekeeping.
The review mentioned that Goldco handles a lot of the paperwork and stuff, right? Like they deal with the custodian and the depository so you don't have to.
Yeah, they basically take care of all the back-end stuff, which can be a huge relief for people who don't want to wade through all that complexity.
And they do work with preferred partners, like Equity Trust for custody. But the review also said you can choose your own custodian and depository if you want.
Exactly, you've got options. And of course, like with any financial account, you'll need to provide some personal info, your social security number and all that. But to help you get started, Goldco gives you this big investment guide that explains everything about the different precious metals you can hold within a gold IRA.
Nice little handbook. So, based on the review, what makes Goldco stand out? What are they doing that others aren't?
Well, a few things. First, those consistently high ratings across the industry year after year. It's not easy to maintain that level of customer satisfaction. And second, they have experts in every part of the business.
They really lean into that specialization we were talking about.
Absolutely. And they call it white glove service for their IRA clients, which is basically like having a dedicated team guiding you through every step of the process. Plus, they have those solid relationships with reputable custodians and depositories.
It's like they're really emphasizing that personalized experience. And the review also mentioned that they take a customized approach, meaning they look at your individual financial situation before recommending any specific metals.
Yeah, no cookie cutter solutions here. And for folks doing direct cash purchases, they offer that free and insured delivery and storage we talked about, at least within the US.
It's convenient.
Right. And the review also pointed out that their pricing is competitive, and they don't use those pushy sales tactics that some companies do.
Oh, the hard sell. Yeah, nobody likes that.
Exactly. Plus, they've got these special deals for new IRA customers where you can get a percentage of your investment back in free silver.
Free silver. So, like,
Yep.
if you invest a certain amount, you get extra silver on top of that.
Exactly. Like the review gave an example. If you invest $50,000, you could get $2,500 worth of free silver.
Wow, that's a pretty good incentive.
Okay.
And they also have a buyback program.
Right. Yeah, if you decide to sell your precious metals later on, they have a whole department dedicated to that, offering competitive prices and making the process as easy as possible.
It's like they thought of everything. And they offer a lot of educational resources too, right? Like blogs and ebooks, even videos.
Yep, they've got it all. Plus live price trackers and readily available customer support. It seems like they're really committed to making sure their clients understand what they're getting into and feel comfortable every step of the way.
Now let's talk about fees. The review mentioned that Goldco has an official fee statement, but they have to present it a certain way because of compliance rules, so the specific amounts aren't listed in the review itself.
Yeah, that makes sense. But to give you an idea, the review did compare Goldco's fee structure to other companies in the industry, talking about setup fees, annual administration fees, storage fees, that kind of thing.
So you can kind of get a ballpark figure.
Exactly. And the review also explained the difference between flat fees, which stay the same no matter how much money you have in your account, and scaled fees, which are a percentage of your holdings, so they can change over time. They pointed out that flat fees are often better in the long run, especially for larger accounts, because those scaled fees can eat into your returns over time.
Good to know. The review also has a helpful FAQ section. What were some of the key takeaways from that?
Well, there's no minimum investment to open a Goldco precious metals IRA, which is good news for people starting out with smaller
You
amounts.
don't need to be a high roller to get started.
Nope. And they offer all the major precious metals: gold, silver, platinum, and palladium.
But you can't add metals you already own into a Goldco IRA, right?
Unfortunately not. Any metals held within the IRA have to be bought through Goldco directly.
Makes sense. They have to ensure everything meets those IRS standards. And what about the storage and custody of the metals? Goldco doesn't handle that directly, right?
Right. They help you set up accounts with their preferred custodian, equity trust company, and with an approved depository. But you can choose your own if you have a specific preference.
So you're not locked into their choices.
Exactly. And as for rollovers, they accept transfers from a bunch of different retirement accounts like 401ks, 403bs, Roth and traditional IRAs, SEP IRAs, and simple IRAs.
So pretty much all the common ones.
Pretty much. The review also specified the exact types of gold and silver that are allowed in these IRAs. Things like American Eagles, Canadian Maple Leafs, and specific bars and rounds that meet certain purity standards.
The IRS is very specific about that.
Yeah.
What about the timeline? How long does it usually take to get everything set up?
They said it takes about 2 to 3 weeks to establish a precious metals IRA, and rollovers from a traditional IRA into a gold IRA usually take around 2 months, but it can vary depending on your specific situation. They also confirmed that Goldco does sell precious metals outside of IRAs, and they still offer that free silver deal for new IRA customers.
Oh, right, the free silver. And they have a buyback program too, right?
Yep, and they actually encourage their customers to give them first dibs if they decide to sell.
Okay, so the review also gave a nice summary of the pros and cons of Goldco. On the plus side, they have that huge percentage of positive customer reviews, exceptional customer service, that easy IRA setup process, no minimum purchase requirements, unlimited phone consultations, tons of educational resources, top ratings, low flat annual fees, a competitive buyback program, and of course, the potential for free silver.
It's quite a list. But on the downside, they don't have in-house custody and storage, though they do help you set that up, and you can't add existing gold or silver to an IRA. They also don't offer any combined gold cryptocurrency IRAs, and their services are currently limited to U.S. customers.
Right, no international sales yet. So, based on all of that, who does the reviewer think Goldco is a good fit for?
Well, he said it's a good option for anyone who wants to invest in precious metals, whether it's within an IRA or just a direct purchase. It's also good for people who are worried about the economy, inflation and all that, and they want to protect their wealth with something tangible.
Something real you can hold in your hand.
Exactly. People nearing retirement might like it too, those who are really prioritizing that financial security. And since there are no minimum purchase requirements, it's accessible to people who want to start small. Plus, those tax advantages for retirement savings are a big draw for a lot of folks.
And where does the reviewer rank Goldco compared to other gold IRA companies?
In his list of the top 3 gold IRA companies, Goldco came in second, which is pretty impressive. His top pick was Augusta Precious Metals, and American Hartford Gold came in third.
So Goldco is right up there with the bet.
Definitely. And he stressed that it's important to do your research before making any changes to your retirement plan. But he also highlighted that Goldco has a ton of experience in precious metals, IRAs, retirement planning, and all the IRS regulations, which can be a huge asset for anyone considering this path.
So all in all, a pretty positive review, even if they weren't his number one choice.
Yeah, he concluded that Goldco is a reputable company with great ratings and a lot of happy customers. He definitely thinks they're a trustworthy option for adding precious metals to your portfolio. He recommends checking them out, but also doing your own research and comparing them to other companies.
Good advice. Always shop around. And how can our listeners get in touch with Goldco if they want to learn more?
The easiest way is to request their free Gold IRA kit on their website. You just fill out a form with your name, email, and phone number, and a specialist will call you to confirm your address and answer any questions you have. The reviewer suggests having your questions ready ahead of time so you can get the most out of that call.
Great tip. And they usually call you back the next business day if you submit the form outside of business hours.
That's what they say.
Okay, so to sum up our deep dive into this Goldco review, they seem to be a company that focuses on education, customer satisfaction, and making the whole process of setting up a precious metals IRA as easy as possible. And they have those perks, like the potential for free silver, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely a lot of positives there.
But as always, we have to remind you, our listeners, that you need to consider your own financial situation, your goals, and do your own research before making any big decisions about your retirement savings.
Absolutely. This deep dive is a great starting point, but it's just one piece of the puzzle.
Exactly. So here's a final thought for you to chew on. With all the talk about economic uncertainty and changes happening in the world, how might adding a tangible asset like precious metals to your retirement strategy give you a different kind of security, like a peace of mind you might not find with traditional investments? It's definitely something to ponder as you plan for the future. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
Thanks for having me.
See you next time.